Renee Holloway Jones is a multi-talented individual wearing multiple hats. She's an ordained minister, an author, a licensed counselor, a trainer, an entrepreneur, a real estate investor, a business consultant, a wife, and a mother. With a deep passion for helping individuals discover true healing and embrace their authentic selves, Renee brings a wealth of expertise and insight to her work as a skilled marriage counselor, therapist, and minister. She has guided numerous individuals, couples, and families in various aspects of their lives, offering practical tools and incorporating biblical teachings to facilitate relationship restoration. She's a testament to her, it's a testament to her unwavering dedication to the institution of marriage. Renee's exceptional counseling abilities, her teaching prowess, and leadership acumen have made her a sought-after figure in her field. Renee Holloway Jones continues to empower individuals and couples, bringing freedom, healing, and restoration to the relationships. She's an Amazon best-selling author of the book, Getting Naked in Marriage, Doing It God's Way. So we are going to bring Miss Renee Holloway Jones to the platform. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Sherrie. So honored to be here. Wow. What an amazing start with the two authors have just been sitting here, just enjoying everyone. This has been an amazing summit, and certainly I'm honored to be a part.
Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for saying yes. And where are you at today? Where are you located?
I am in North Carolina, in the great state here in the
North
USA.
Carolina.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, 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 yes. And we talk about that this is a global platform. So I'm in Barbados, you're in North Carolina,
Yeah.
and we are able to connect. And I'm so excited to bring you on this platform because I've been like cheering you on and rooting you on. And since we connected, I was so just inspired by the wisdom that you have. You're like really power packed. You're really calm about it, and but there's so much wisdom that you have. So I want you to share with us. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, you had a good introduction. I have a new title, which is grandmother. So I'm excited to now be a grandmother and enjoying certainly being a wife of this year, will be 35 years, and have adult sons. And my love and passion is in the mental health, substance abuse field. Enjoy the counseling piece for marriages, of course, and individuals, and certainly with women, men, families. That is where my love is. And when I was 14 years old, I had an older brother. He was in the military. And back in the day, they call it a mental breakdown. And so I was 14 years old, and I felt a call, a pull to understanding mental health and being in a family where my father pastored. Back then in the day, it was like in our community, it was just about, okay, let's just pray. But we need to really understand more of what we need and tools. And then my father pastored for years, and we were a good family, we thought. And then one day we moved, and my father didn't come. And so that was an impact, played a big part on my life in not wanting to be married anymore. Like if my parents can't work it out, and I just looked at my dad as some great, you know how you look at your father and my mother amazing, and y'all can't work this out. Oh, I don't want to be married. Oh, I just don't. And so, of course, as I grew and began to get a relationship with God for myself, understanding the call to marriage. And so then I was open and I surrendered to the call of marriage.
Wow. So having experienced that as a child, how was adjusting to marriage life for you? Once you surrendered to that call, what was that? How difficult was that? What was that process like?
I hear people and their testimony of how difficult marriage was, and I had to adjust and do all of that. That is not my testimony. My testimony really is, it is amazing. The first year, we really had to sit down, and the key word is communicate. That we will make a decision, because in my family, in my husband's family, the thing that was prevalent was divorce and infidelity. So we had to really talk about what we had experienced and what we were pre-exposed to early on in the marriage, and make a decision that we really are committed to this marriage and to learning and understanding how to be married. And then what does it really mean to say until death do us part?
Wow. That's awesome. Well, I'm glad that you didn't have all of the problems so many people talk about.
Yes.
But you know what? I think honestly, as you're saying that, that's an internal thing as well. Because
Yes.
if you are internally peaceful, that is what you exude, right? So if you're
Yes.
not a person
Yes.
that's just toxic and chaotic, that you probably
Yes.
not gonna really experience that a whole lot,
Yes.
in your marriage. But from what I've known about you as a mental health counselor and professional, you pretty much have a gauge on your emotions, your emotional intelligence, your communication. So talk to the people that don't.
Okay.
'Cause-
Okay.
'cause-
And so, yeah.
Go ahead.
So that's where the title, Getting Naked in Marriage, but Doing It God's Way. So the nakedness is really uncovering and revealing the hurts, the pains, the difficulties, the challenges that you have experienced either before the marriage or during the marriage. Because what I see so often, and my target audience at Dr. Sherrie is my author coach, who is amazing. So let me put that plug in there. But reaching women who really don't understand how to uncover and reveal so they can be healed. And so a lot of times, certainly with women, what I find is having that daughter father issue, and not understanding how to really move past the little girl. But because they're functioning as the 12-year-old, as the 5-year-old that was hurt, or the father left and never came back, waiting at the window, not seeing him. But now you're 35, you're 40, you're 50 in a marriage, but still having the emotions of the 12-year-old, and never really dealing with that pain, with that hurt of confronting that, and taking responsibility in either getting some professional help to help you go through that process of revealing while you're healing. Mm. And so, not only just with the father, but with the mother, or with other broken relationships. And even hearing Dr. Sheila being really open to be healed, so you can open your heart up to love again. Love that.
Yeah, absolutely. You have so much knowledge from a biblical standpoint as well as a marketplace, business professional standpoint. Talk to me the challenges that this book faces or helps people through. Can we talk a little bit through that? Because I know that the book is power packed. So what are some of the things that it helps women work? Now you just talked about healing and going through that process, but let's go a little bit deeper. What are some of those things in the marriage that you see constantly the book deals with, but also as a counselor that you're seeing like some repetition?
Yes. So one of the things I just spoke about was the pain from the childhood. And then a lot of times with individual spouses, not really understanding who they are and trying to put on what's the word I want to use? Trying to be something that you're not is the bottom line. And operating not being your authentic self. Let's just go right there. This is why I encourage individuals not to start out with marital counseling. Let's just do some individual so we can meet you where you are, so you can address the rape, the molestation, because a lot of that is going on, believe it or not. The lies that you've been told of what you are not, and understanding you are wonderfully made. You are in the very image of God. He has put so much in you, but because you've been so beat down and told so many lies, that now you have bought into that. So now let's reset. Let's regroup here. Let's understand what truth is about who you are as a woman, as a wife, as an individual.
Yeah.
And so that's why I love the scripture. And ye shall know the truth. And it's the truth that will make you free. And so now, once you understand that I'm not those things that I were told that was negative, that I am smart, I can write the book, I can do anything that I set my mind to. And so that is one of the things that I really try to work with, especially women. Let's meet you where you are so you can move forward because you can't do much in the marriage if you're so broken. You can't be that wife. So because in the marriage, what happens is we are mirroring Christ and his bride, which is the church. But now the church was broken. So we're now healed by the blood of the crucified lamb. And so God has given us so many tools and so many good professionals to help process this out to get to our healing.
I love it. I love it. I'm as you're talking, I'm writing. So I want to talk about two things that jumped off to me.
Okay.
The first one, dealing and keeping in that line of brokenness.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know that you're broken? And the reason I'm saying that is because a lot of times in relationships, you find people saying, it's not me, it's him. It's not, and it's this constant back and forth of, tit for tat, as we used to say back in the day, where people tend to not see themselves, but they see the faults of their spouse magnified. So how does a woman know that she's actually broken?
Trust me, she knows she is broken. She may not be ready to confront the brokenness, but deep down in her heart, she knows she is broken. This is why I encourage women to reach out to speak with your leader, your pastor, your professional, or if you have a confidant, because a lot of times people will see a counselor because you want your information to be confidential. You don't want to expose yourself and you're not being covered. And so, yes, when they come to counseling, usually I will ask if they come together, then I am going to schedule them separately. And that is the thing we immediately begin is with you, not what he is doing or not doing. Now, let's just deal with you. And once we start there, then they will begin to unpack the things that they were trying to cover that they know is there. Mm-hmm. So yes, they absolutely know, but they don't know. Sometimes people don't know how to deal with it.
Mhm.
They don't understand how to bring forth the healing. How do I begin the process of my healing? So sometimes it's just people don't know. And so they become hurt, they bitter, they, do some off stuff because they want to do better, but they don't know how.
Yeah, I love that. So going to the beginning of your book, what I like about your book is you talk about marriage from the beginning, the purpose of marriage. So can you tell us a little bit about that? I want to talk about the purpose of marriage and the role of a spouse.
Oh, yes. So I really enjoy marriage. I really love the ministry of marriage and what it really is all about. And so God Himself ordained marriage. And so when He brought forth Eve, He presented her to Adam and said, now this is how marriage is going to look. And you're going to mirror, as I said, Christ and the church. And you're going to reproduce other like-minded people that we can celebrate who God is and who He has made us to be on this earth. And that He is so awesome. And He said, now, this is how marriage looks with me and my bride. Now, in the world, they may not come to church, but they should look at your marriage and see my relationship with my bride, the church. And so coming together, what the Bible says, as one flesh, that doesn't mean we don't have individuality. It means that the oneness of the ministry of what we're called to do in a marriage to show others how the relationship with Christ and His bride really looks. And so marriage gets a bad rap, because people don't really understand the deeper ministry of marriage and what God Himself has ordained for us all. And now
Yeah.
you don't even hear many people talking about marriage because now, the world system is saying, okay, you can do how you want to do. Just shack up. Let's live together. Let's test this thing out. No, this is a call. This is a call of God because I was someone like, I don't want to be married, but it was a call that God Himself changed my heart. And then I became open to then learn about marriage. I didn't just jump out there, but I began to study and go to seminars and workshops and understand what does it mean when you say I'm a wife? What does it mean to say I'm a husband? And then we submit to one another.
Yeah.
That you're not the father. No, we're partners in this. He came out of the side. So we are walking together in this partnership.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that's a whole nother, we can keep you on for 2 hours for that. Marriage is being challenged every single day. People
Yes.
are trying to redefine marriage. People are trying to tell you the new rules. They're trying to tell you it's just a piece of paper. It doesn't mean anything. We've been together long enough, so it just works. And and I can only imagine, that it gets to be difficult because now as more people start to come forward, they're confused.
Yes.
They're confused about what is the right way and what,
Yes.
because I mean there are other people that are at church saying some of these things, right? So we continue to applaud you for your efforts out there in the field.
Yeah.
Holding it down for healthy marriages, strong marriages. And once people understand the importance of marriage, I believe personally, because my husband and I do some marriage coaching in different boot camps and things like that. But I think once people understand the importance of the bond of marriage, they understand how much even more powerful that they are.
Yeah.
There was a rap song back in the day, I'm good by myself, but I'm a force when we're together. Like it's a purpose for coming together. It's
Yeah.
not just so you can have someone in your arms and
That's
just
right.
take selfies. So I want you to just spend a little bit longer going deeper in that, because I'm really trying to get some people's mind to unlock. A lot of people want it for the wrong thing. They want it because they want a companion. They want someone to go travel with. It's so much deeper than that.
It's so much deeper. And you're right. I could talk probably about 2 hours on that. And so even looking at marriage, and then when we have children, and that's just another piece in the marriage, and how impactful we are in the marriage with the children, and how we come together to help, teach uh, children about who they are and who God is calling them to be. But you have to come together as husband and wife to be able to impart in your child, in your community, because you'll be surprised when you're married who is really watching you. Mm-hmm. Because people around you, you're surprised in what they're getting from just your everyday interactions in your marriage. It's so much that God is calling us to do and to be, to encourage others in relationships, that you can do this. My sister told me, she said, "Oh God, if something happened to your marriage, it's, I'm done."
Giving
but
up.
It doesn't, because nothing's going to happen, because I'm in agreement with God and what God has called me to be as a wife. And I told my husband, I said, well, if you leave, I'll just go with you. And he just fell out. He said, well, you know what? If you leave, I'll just go with you. And so for real, we understand the deeper call of marriage. And yes, the physical, that is a bonus and a benefit that we get in the marriage. But what God is calling us to be the light to the world as a couple, to show one can chase 1,000, but two can put 10,000 to flight. And so there's so much power in agreement. And when you can come together in a marriage and agree, that's a real power couple. Is when you're in agreement with each other. And most importantly, the two of you are in agreement with God. And now you can turn this world upside down.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I see one of the comments says, Renee Jones is so inspiring. I have read her book and it has changed my life. So thank you.
Awesome.
The comments are starting to come in before they just told us they could not comment. So I believe we fixed that moment. So yes, inspiring lives, ma'am, around the world. And I want to talk about what's very, I would say, working with you in the process and then naming this book. Right? So tell us, like, that name was kind of just in your face. What was the inspiration behind the name of the book?
So really, I want it to be a little eye-catching, a little gauging, and even the picture, just so when they see it, oh, let me see what this is all about. But I had to say, doing it God's way to keep their focus, right? And so the naked part really is uncovering the very depths of who you are, and who and what is hindering you. What I really like to use as an example as well is when you have an infection and you're going into surgery because the infection has now gotten deep inside. And so the doctor, they have to cut you and go deep into the root of the matter. And so you got to go deep to uncover what's really hurting and causing the infection. And once that is taken out, the healing begins on the inside. They sew you up, you're looking good, no one can really tell, but you feel on the inside, some pain there. But then it'll start healing. And so the getting naked part is you uncovering and revealing it all. You're unveiling who you are in the marriage to the spouse. And like I said, even if you need to speak with someone on a professional level, it's nothing wrong with that. That's why God has given us wisdom, knowledge. And I tell people now, you will go seek help from the neck down. Now, if you have your blood pressure is high, what they say, go to the doctor and get checked. Get your blood pressure checked. Get on whatever. But now you're having some things going on where you're maybe feeling depressed in the marriage. You may be feeling down. Well, what's wrong with going to get that checked out? Because now, after this pandemic, we were forced to come together as married people. Because what? The whole world shut down. You have to understand now, okay, we're in this thing together. But we're going to make it. We got to sit here and look at each other every day. And so we were able to still give services to those that's now, okay, I'm home with my husband. I don't know if I really like him. You know, I mean, for real, people were very honest and then had to understand, how do we now reacquaint ourselves with each other? Because we had gotten so busy and running that now we need to really get naked here and understand on every level, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, sexually. We need to do it all so we can understand who we are in this marriage together.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. I was speaking to someone yesterday that is struggling in their marriage. And she said something to me that I used to struggle with. She says, what happens when I change and he doesn't? He's the one that's causing these issues, but you're telling me to work on me. What is the importance of working on you, even if you don't see the change or the shift in your marriage?
And this is why this book is also, you'll find scriptures throughout and then prayer at the end of each chapter, because while you're working on him and you're revealing and uncovering between you and God, it's important to have a prayer life. And then you're going to have to release him to God and trust God that this is your manservant. This is who you have joined me with. And it's me that's able to stand and cover him when he doesn't even understand who he is. But God, I come in agreement with you about my husband. I don't agree with what he's saying if he's speaking contrary to who God is calling him to be. And so what happens as wives, we're looking at his actions, what he's saying to us that may not be lining up. But now, are you going to agree with him or are you going to agree with God? And the Bible says, is it better to obey God or obey man? So it works that same way. So if you're going to stay in the marriage and stand there and he's changing, you're changing, or y'all, oh, I don't love you. Okay, now, do you believe your vows? Do you believe what God has joined together? Let no man put us under. That means you. But now, if he's doing stuff, now you got to increase that prayer life. And so, God, help me, God. If you got to cry, go in your prayer room, go in the closet, go somewhere in your car and just cry it out. I don't understand it. I'm hurt. But God, help me, because this is who you have called me to be with. Now, if you call me to be with him, if you can change the heart of Pharaoh, certainly you can change my husband's heart to turn his heart back to me.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Listen, I keep going because I like this. I like this subject. I'm gonna let you off soon. But talk to me. Communication is key, right?
Oh, wow, yes.
We understand a lot of people don't know how to communicate. My husband and I used to have this running, or he still has it, that I start part of the conversations in my head before I actually get it out. So I literally bring him in mid sentence.
Okay.
We've since adjusted, right? I'm
Okay.
trying to do better with that. He knows what I'm kind of how I move. But how do we help people start to communicate better in the marriage relationship?
Great question. Certainly, that is the key. That is a lot of our challenges. I tell people this is why God has given us 2 ears and 1 mouth. So communication begins with listening. That's the first thing. And then what I ask couples to do is schedule some time to really sit down and communicate. Let's have some time where you and I can sit down and talk about some whatever the topic may be, but there has to be some guidelines set in the conversation. While I'm talking, you must listen. You cannot interrupt me. Let me get it out, because sometimes as women, we're already thinking of our response while they're talking. And so we're blurted out, and then the men were just shut down. But listening, and more listening, and then starting out really encouraging, not, oh, you did this, you did this. Well, I appreciate what you said, but if you could have said it another way because it hurt my feelings, whatever, whatever. Or when he finishes, what I heard you say was, because that is a response a lot of times when you ask the couple to now say, what did you hear them say? Not so much what they said. What did you hear them say? It is usually something totally different.
Yeah. Yes.
And he'll say, no, that's not what I said. And so just learning how to, okay, let's just stop. And let's for real talk. Give me 10 minutes. Because you can't ask him and the NFL game is on and now I want to talk. No, that's not fair. If you're getting ready to go out shopping, well, he wants to talk. No, let's schedule time that we are both ready, open to communicate with whatever we have going on. Now we can talk about it and listen and then respond and vice versa.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. I see someone saying, where can they purchase a copy of your book today? Like today. They're ready to get it today. Where can they purchase a copy?
So today, Amazon is on Amazon, and my website is reneehollowayjones.com. You can get it there, and wherever books are sold.
Awesome. Awesome. So before I let you off, just give us a few, and really quickly, what was the book writing process like for you?
Yes, I'm glad you give me this time to say, I knew I had to write this book. I did feel a call and was looking for a coach. I knew I needed a coach to help me be disciplined because I'm so busy and have some accountability. And like Dr. Sherrie, like Dr. Sheila, I saw Dr. Sherrie being interviewed, and I had several people to reach out. And in her interview, I felt a connection with Dr. Sherrie and signed up for the Authors University. And the process was, the young lady said she took 2 weeks. Well, my process was a little longer. That year, my mother died. The next year, my brother died. And during the editing of this book, I had interviewed my sister and brother-in-law, and 2-3 weeks later, he passed. So my process was a little bit longer, but I can say with Dr. Sherrie, I'm not saying this because I'm on her platform. She is really an author's dream. She is really someone that can pull out of you that you didn't even know you had. And that really is her assignment. That is her anointing, to be able to help you through the process of writing your book, because I didn't even really like writing like that, but she made the process and helped us so you wouldn't be overwhelmed, that there were steps that we took. And I love that, because trying to just sit down and think about, okay, but we were in steps, and I love that. And that it became so easy and enjoyable. So love, love, love. Walton Publishing Company, they published my book, amazing people. Certainly, they are a global team, and we are honored to be a part of their lives forever.
Forever. Yes. Well, thank you so much. I think I probably kept you longer than your time, because your topic, like people want to know about relationships. People want to know
Yeah.
how to make it work. As I tell people, you want to build a successful life, but you got to go home to this person every day.
Every
If
day.
home is not right,
Yes,
life is not right. Like
that's right.
let's be real. So that's why I wanted you to share with the people. You gave such amazing nuggets. You all need to purchase this book. This is an amazing book. There's so many principles, like she mentioned, everything from prayers to the practical side of life, to the she gives you the biblical, but she's going to also give you the everyday, so that
Practical, yes.
you may not like, well, I'm not into the word like that. That's fine. This book takes you on that journey where anyone can read it and grow from it. And this is a book you need to read more than once. There are there's so much information that you need to keep reading it until you're able to master your relationship. This book is amazing. So I thank you so much. I know you travel around speaking, and I'm so just thankful that you were able to take some time with us today. So thank you again, Miss Renee Holloway Jones. It's such a pleasure to talk to you today.
Thank you, Dr. Sherrie.
Have a good one.
You too.